Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex source material and, well, we break it down into something you can actually use.
That's the plan.
Today we're getting into a really big one, a cultural touchstone, almost. John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Huge seller. And yeah, famous for its generalizations, maybe sometimes controversial for them.
True, but also famous because, for a lot of people, the insights just clicked. They felt genuinely counterintuitive, but somehow true to their experience.
Absolutely. So our mission today, we're going deep. We want to pull out the core wisdom from Gray's framework, to try to understand why men and women so often feel like they're speaking different languages, even when there's love there.
And the stakes are high right from the start. Gray himself says it. He dedicates the book to his wife, Bonnie.
Yeah, he's very open about it. He basically admits he wouldn't still be happily married without figuring this stuff out and applying it.
So it's not just academic theory. For him, it came directly from their struggles, their journey together.
Exactly. It was born out of the messy reality of trying to make a relationship work.
Which leads us straight to the central idea, the big one, and maybe the hardest one to really accept sometimes.
Which is?
That men and women are, well, fundamentally different, operating from different psychological places, different planets, as the title says.
Right. And the root of so much conflict isn't necessarily bad intentions or a lack of love. It's the expectation. Expecting your partner to think, feel, react, and communicate just like you do.
That's the trap. Expecting a Martian to act like a Venusian, or vice versa.
Exactly. So the real work, according to Gray, isn't trying to change them into being like you.
No, it's about changing you, your communication, how you react, how you interpret their actions. It's about shifting your own perspective.
Developing more tolerance, maybe, more acceptance, gaining that wisdom to adjust your approach depending on who you're dealing with.
And we should mention, this book, these ideas, they've had a documented impact. People credit them with saving marriages, enriching relationships,
helping people understand why past relationships maybe didn't work out. It clearly resonated.
But we need that caveat in there, right? Gray himself puts it in.
Yeah, it's important. These are common tendencies, not absolute rules for every single man and woman. He mentions, maybe 10% of women might relate more to the Martian side, maybe due to hormones or upbringing, who knows?
So the point isn't to box anyone in. It's about understanding the common patterns of miscommunication. Why do these misunderstandings happen so often?
Precisely. It's a map for navigating common friction points. And there's a great story he tells, his own aha moment, that really illustrates this friction perfectly.
The story after their daughter Lauren was born?
Yes, the post-birth incident. It's such a clear example of how wires get crossed.
So Bonnie's just had the baby. She's in pain, exhausted. A relative was visiting, supposed to get her painkillers, but forgot. She's feeling completely abandoned, stranded.
Right. And when John walks in, she's upset, understandably, and says something like, "I've been stuck in bed all day and nobody cares."
And John hears.
He hears blame. Martian logic kicks in. She's saying, "I don't care. This is unfair. I didn't even know about the painkiller thing."
So his instinct is pure defense. He feels accused, incompetent maybe, and his reaction is to just leave, head for the door. That classic pull-away response.
Textbook Martian flight response when feeling blamed, but Bonnie stops him.
Yeah, this is the crucial part. She doesn't argue. She just tells him what she needs.
She says, "Please, just come over here and hold me. You don't have to say anything." Simple, direct instruction.
And that was it. The light bulb moment.
That was the moment. He suddenly realized he'd been what he called a fair-weather friend. Easy to be loving when she was happy, but the second she was upset, he got defensive, pulled away.
He didn't know what to do.
He didn't instinctively know that just holding her, just being present without fixing anything was the answer. He realized he needed her to show him the way, to teach him how to support her in the way she needed in that moment.
That story really sets up the core difference in coping mechanisms, doesn't it? How we handle stress.
Absolutely. Which brings us to probably the most foundational concept in the book. The cave and the wave.
Okay, let's unpack the cave first. The Martian way of coping.
Right. So when men get stressed, overwhelmed, or upset, their instinct is to retreat. Mentally, they go into this cave.
A place of silence.
Silence and solitude, yeah. Their whole focus narrows down onto the problem. Analyze it, isolate it, find a solution efficiently.
And there's a kind of pride involved, too, isn't there? Like, Martians don't burden other Martians with problems.
Exactly. It's an unspoken rule. You don't talk about a problem unless you specifically need help from someone else to solve it. Otherwise, you handle it yourself.
Yeah.
Solitary mission.
What if they get stuck? Can't find the solution in the cave.
Then they shift focus. They find something else to solve, usually something unrelated, maybe less demanding, reading the news, watching a game, fixing something small around the house.
Distraction.
Not just distraction, it's more like mental palate cleansing. These other activities might take, say, 5 or 10% of their focus, just enough to disengage from the main problem, get unstuck, so they can come back to it later, maybe the next day, with a fresh perspective.
Okay, now the crucial misunderstanding.
Yeah.
How does this look from the Venusian side?
Well, when a woman sees her partner retreat into silence, her instinct is usually the opposite. She expects connection, talking it through, that's her way.
So when he goes quiet, she feels.
Ignored, shut out. She often mistakenly assumes his silence means he doesn't care about her or the relationship. It feels like rejection, and that can build serious resentment. She feels locked out of his inner world.
Because her own coping mechanism is so different. The wave.
Exactly. The contrast is really stark. When women or Venusians are stressed, the instinct is to talk. Talk about the feelings, talk about all the problems connected to those feelings, big or small.
It's not necessarily about finding one single solution right then.
Not primarily, no. The act of talking itself is what brings relief. It's like Gray calls it emotional house cleaning. Sharing the feelings, exploring them out loud, that's what feels fulfilling. And importantly, it creates intimacy.
Okay, so then the Martian misinterpretation kicks in here. He hears her talking about problems.
And his fixer brain activates. He assumes she's either blaming him for the problems or she's looking for concrete solutions. He's listening for the bottom line, the data points he needs to fix it.
But she's not asking for fixes.
Often not. The more details she shares, exploring the emotional landscape, the more frustrated he might get because he can't find the problem to solve. He totally misses that the connection and the sharing is the point for her.
These different coping styles seem to lead naturally into different cycles of intimacy, too.
They do. For men, Gray describes the rubber band theory.
The rubber band. How does that work?
He suggests men are like rubber bands in relationships. They get close, feel that intimacy, and then instinctively, they need to pull away.
Pull away. Why? Is it something the woman did?
Not usually, no. It's described as a fundamental, instinctual need for autonomy, for independence. It's not a conscious decision to reject her. It's an internal urge to reconnect with his sense of self, his own power.
So he pulls away, stretches the band.
Right. He needs to stretch to his full limit, feel that separateness, and the key thing is, once he hits that limit, feels fully independent again.
He snaps back.
Instantly, he feels the desire for love and intimacy surge back, often stronger than before, and he returns to the relationship with the same level of closeness he left.
Okay, so here's the practical bit for someone listening. What happens if the woman doesn't understand this cycle? If she feels him pulling away and she chases him, tries to pull him back closer.
That's the crucial mistake, according to this theory. By chasing him, by insisting on constant closeness, she prevents him from stretching the full distance.
She stops the cycle.
Yes. And by doing that, she inadvertently prevents him from feeling his own natural desire to return. She's denying him that core need for autonomy.
And the result?
He feels smothered, controlled. He can't reclaim his sense of self, so he becomes moody, irritable, maybe passive, defensive. It actually sabotages the closeness she wants.
Wow. Okay. That's the male cycle. What about the female cycle? You mentioned the wave earlier in terms of stress, but it relates to self-esteem too.
Yes. The wave theory also describes a woman's self-esteem and her ability to give and receive love. It naturally rises and falls like a wave.
So it's not always at a peak.
No. And when the wave crashes, when she hits a low point, Gray describes it as going into a dark well.
The dark well. What happens there?
This is that time for emotional house cleaning we talked about. Negative feelings surface, maybe disappointments, unmet needs, things she might have suppressed earlier to be positive or supportive.
And this is when she really needs to talk.
Especially then. She needs to talk about those feelings, explore them, and most importantly, feel heard and understood, not fixed.
So here comes the classic male mistake again. He sees her upset in the well, and his instinct is
to pull her out, to fix it. He might offer solutions, tell her why she shouldn't feel that way, try to cheer her up logically.
But that invalidates her feelings.
Exactly. It basically says, your feelings are wrong, stop having them. It prevents her from fully experiencing and processing whatever is down there in the well. She needs to hit bottom, emotionally speaking, before the wave can naturally start to rise again.
So trying to fix her actually stops the natural emotional process.
Yes. And sometimes, if he does manage to just listen without fixing, she might even seem to get more upset temporarily.
Why is that?
Because his unconditional listening creates safety. It gives her permission to go deeper, to really feel and release the painful stuff that needs to come out. He needs to trust that process.
This explains those frustrating recurring arguments, doesn't it? Where an issue seems resolved, she feels better, the wave rises.
And he thinks, great, problem solved, filed away.
But then later, maybe the core issue wasn't practically resolved, just emotionally processed, and it comes up again.
Right. And the man gets instantly frustrated, like, what? We deal with this. How many times do we have to go through this? Yeah. He doesn't get that for her, the emotional journey, the processing was the point, even if the situation itself hasn't changed yet.
Okay, that difference in cycles is huge.
Yeah.
And it leads right into the communication traps, Mr. Fix-It and the, Home Improvement Committee.
Exactly. Let's start with the Martian trap. Mr. Fix-It.
This comes from the male focus on confidence, right?
Yes. A man often derives his sense of self-worth from being effective, competent, able to solve problems. So when a woman is upset, his immediate, often well-intentioned response is to offer solutions. He wants to fix the problem to make her feel better.
But in doing so, he bypasses her actual need in that moment.
Which is usually empathy, understanding, just being heard.
Let's use that example from the book again. Mary comes home totally overwhelmed, says something like, there's just too much to do. I never have any time for myself.
And Tom, Mr. Fix-It, jumps in with solutions. Well, you should quit that volunteer thing. Or maybe you should just relax more. Don't worry so much.
He's trying to help, but she feels
unheard, dismissed. She wasn't asking for a life plan. She was expressing a feeling. And when she pushes back, maybe says, can you just listen? How does Tom feel?
Rejected. Like his solution wasn't good enough.
Exactly. He feels his competence is being questioned. He feels mistrusted. And what does he do then?
Pulls away, goes into his cave.
Right, which leaves her feeling even more alone and unheard. Vicious cycle.
Okay, now the other side. The Venusian trap. The Home Improvement Committee.
This is when a woman, often with loving intentions, tries to help a man by offering unsolicited advice or criticism, especially right after he's made a mistake or when he's trying to do something.
She thinks she's nurturing him, helping him grow.
Yeah, from her perspective, it's supportive. But from his perspective,
he feels controlled, criticized, like he's not good enough.
Broken, even. The classic example is the driving one. They're lost. Mary suggests, why don't you pull over and ask for directions? Or maybe you should have taken that last exit.
What does Tom hear?
He doesn't hear helpfulness. He hears, you're incompetent. I don't trust you to figure this out. For a Martian, offering unsolicited advice, especially when he's already struggling or knows he messed up, feels like a direct attack on his core sense of competence.
It's adding insult to injury.
Pretty much. And the impact, he feels unloved, untrusted, controlled, and that makes him dig his heels in. He becomes resistant to the very improvement she's trying to encourage.
So what's the key insight here for helping a man change or improve?
It's subtle but crucial. A man is much more open to making changes when he feels he's being approached as the solution to a problem, meaning he's trusted and his competence is assumed rather than being treated as the problem itself.
Got it. So when these misunderstandings lead to arguments, it's often not even about the topic at hand.
Rarely. Gray argues they're fighting for different fundamental rights.
Men are fighting for
the right to be free. They want space, autonomy, freedom from criticism and control.
And women are fighting for
the right to be upset. They want understanding, empathy, validation for their feelings. They want to know it's okay to feel how they feel.
And when a man feels challenged or criticized in an argument,
his focus instantly snaps. It shifts from trying to resolve the issue to defending his rightness, his autonomy. He forgets about being loving or caring because he's in self-preservation mode.
Which just escalates everything.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another key difference. Processing time. Martian silence versus Venusian panic.
Okay, explain Martian silence again.
Men tend to process information internally before speaking. They hear something, especially something complex or emotionally charged, and they need time to mull it over, consider different angles, formulate a complete response in their head.
So the silence doesn't mean they're ignoring you?
Not necessarily. Internally, the silence often means, okay, hang on, I'm thinking about this. I don't have the answer yet, but I'm working on it. It could take minutes, could take longer.
But women often process differently.
Yes, women often think out loud. Talking is part of the process of discovery, figuring out what they think or feel as they speak.
So, when her partner goes silent,
panic can set in, because her natural silence usually means something very different.
Like what?
For many women, silence means I'm deeply hurt, or I'm so angry I can't speak, or even I don't trust you enough to share my thoughts anymore. She's emotionally withdrawn.
So she projects her reasons for silence onto his silence.
Exactly. Her mind starts racing, imagining the worst. He's mad at me. He hates me. He's definitely leaving me. It triggers deep-seated fears of abandonment.
Which explains why she might feel compelled to break that silence, to push him to talk.
Right. Which leads to the famous dragon warning.
Don't follow him into the cave.
Never follow him into the cave. If you pursue him when he needs that silent processing time, you'll get burned by the dragon. His defensiveness, his anger at being interrupted during a vital internal process.
So what should she do when he goes silent?
Do something for herself, something that makes her feel good. Call a friend, read a book, go for a walk. Honor his need for space, protect her own peace, and trust he'll emerge when he's ready.
Okay, if we're really speaking different languages, we need some translations. Those common sweeping statements women might make when upset, men take them so literally.
They do. Let's try one. She says, "Nobody listens to me," or "Everyone ignores me."
Okay, the literal-minded Martian hears the negative interpretation. You specifically are ignoring me. You are unloving. You fail at listening. I would never treat you this way.
It sounds like a direct accusation of his failure.
Right, but she often means the translation. Right now, today, I feel ignored and unimportant. I'm feeling a bit invisible. I'm worried other things like your work are more important than me. Could you just give me a hug and tell me I'm special to you? I need some reassurance.
It's a statement about her feeling, not a factual report on his behavior.
Precisely. It's a bid for connection and validation. Let's try another one. She says, nothing is working out. Everything is going wrong. Okay, Mr. Fix-It, here's, you are failing. You can't manage things. I can't rely on you. You don't do anything right. Again, sounds like deep criticism of his competence.
But she probably means, wow, I feel really overwhelmed today. It feels like there are just too many things piling up and I'm struggling. Could you just hold me for a minute? Tell me I'm doing okay. Just hearing that would feel really good right now.
The gap between the literal words and the intended emotional message is huge.
Huge, which is why how a woman asks for support is so critical to avoid triggering that defensiveness.
And the book gets really specific here, doesn't it, about the exact words.
Remarkably specific. Be direct, be brief, and use would you or will you, not could you or can you.
Okay, explain that distinction again.
Yeah.
Why is could you take out the trash potentially problematic for a Martian?
Because could you or can you questions his capability. Of course he can take out the trash. He's physically capable. Asking if he can feels like an insult to his competence, however subtle.
But would you take out the trash is different.
Yes, would you or will you is a request for service. It acknowledges his capability and gives him a chance to be helpful, to be her hero in that small moment, to score a point.
Score a point. We'll get to that. But what about the grumbles? He agrees, but then he sighs or makes a face or mutters something.
The grumbles. The instruction here is clear. When you hear the grumbles, say nothing. Remain silent and accepting. Don't resist his resistance.
Why? What are the grumbles really about?
Often they're just the sound of him mentally shifting gears. He was focused on something else. Now he has to reorient to this new task. It's not necessarily resentment towards her or the request.
So if she criticizes the grumbles,
He feels punished for agreeing to help. It creates a negative association. See, even when I say yes, I get criticized. But if she just accepts the grumble silently, he shifts gears, does the task, and remembers the interaction positively, making him more willing next time.
that level of detail on the mechanics is fascinating. Okay, this leads us right into the core emotional needs. Because all these communication breakdowns happen because we're not getting our fundamental needs met.
Exactly. And the big mistake we make is giving the kind of love we want to receive, assuming is what our partner wants too.
So men give what men want.
Right. They tend to offer solutions, trust by not interfering, space, things that affirm competence.
And women give what women want.
They tend to offer caring, empathy, understanding, advice, involvement.
And the result is both partners can end up feeling unloved or unappreciated because they're not getting the specific kind of support that resonates with their core needs.
Precisely. Gray breaks this down into 12 primary love needs, 6 key ones for women, 6 corresponding ones for men. And he suggests they're reciprocal.
Reciprocal, meaning if you give one, you tend to get the other back.
That's the idea. Let's walk through them. A woman primarily needs caring. She needs to feel her well-being is prioritized.
And the corresponding male need.
Trust. He needs to feel she believes in him, trusts his intentions and abilities. So when he shows caring, like asking genuinely about her day, she feels safe, which makes it easier for her to trust him.
Okay. Next. Woman needs understanding.
She needs her feelings heard and accepted empathetically without judgment or immediate solution.
And the man needs acceptance.
He needs to feel loved for who he is without her constantly trying to change or improve him. So when he truly listens and seeks to understand her feelings, she feels understood, and that makes it easier for her to accept him, flaws and all.
Makes sense. Third pair. Woman needs respect.
Her thoughts, feelings, rights, needs should be given weight and importance, not dismissed.
And the man needs appreciation.
He needs to feel his efforts and contributions are noticed and valued. So when he shows respect by prioritizing her needs or opinions, she feels valued, and it's easier for her to genuinely appreciate what he does.
Okay, halfway there. Woman needs devotion.
She needs to feel special, cherished, like she holds a unique and primary place in his life.
Man needs admiration.
He needs to feel she look up to him, marvels at his skills or character, sees him as her hero or champion. When he shows devotion, making her feel like his queen, she naturally feels admiration for her king.
Fifth. Woman needs validation.
This is crucial. It's acknowledging that her feelings are understandable and legitimate given her perspective, even if he doesn't feel the same way.
And the man needs approval.
He needs to feel she approves of him, his choices, his actions, without finding fault. So when he validates her feelings, I can see why you'd feel that way, she feels deeply understood, which frees her up to offer him approval.
And the final pair. Woman needs reassurance.
She needs to hear regularly that she is loved, that he's committed, that everything is okay between them.
Man needs encouragement.
He needs her to express confidence in his abilities and character, to believe in him, especially when he's facing challenges. When he offers reassurance, she feels secure, and that security allows her to genuinely encourage him. It's a delicate ecosystem. If one person isn't getting their primary needs met, they often unconsciously withhold the corresponding need from their partner.
Like, if he doesn't offer validation, she might withhold approval.
Exactly. He doesn't feel approved of, so maybe his motivation dips, he stops trying new things, she feels less validated. It becomes a downward spiral.
That knight in shining armor story illustrates this perfectly, doesn't it? The breakdown of needs.
It really does. Initially, the knight is totally motivated. Why?
Because the princess needs saving. He feels needed, competent, she admires him, trusts him to slay the dragon. His primary needs are met.
Right. He uses his trusty sword, slays the dragon, feels great, hero vibes all around. But then the next dragon appears.
And the princess, trying to be helpful, fulfilling her nurturing instinct,
Offers unsolicited advice. Don't use your sword this time, darling. Use this noose I made.
he uses the noose, it works. But how does he feel?
Less competent, less proud. It wasn't his skill, his method. His need for admiration and trust takes a hit.
Then the third dragon, she suggests poison.
Right, try the poison. He hesitates, maybe gets burned, eventually succeeds, but feels deep shame. He feels incompetent, controlled, not trusted.
Her helpfulness, the home improvement committee, completely undermined his core needs.
Exactly. Trust, admiration, approval gone. And when a man's primary needs aren't met, his motivation to be the knight, to serve and protect, just vanishes. He leaves. He goes looking for a village where they appreciate his sword-fighting skills and haven't heard of nooses or poisons.
It makes the resistance to unsolicited advice so much clearer. It's not just ego. It's about feeling fundamentally unloved and untrusted in a way that matters deeply to him. Okay, let's shift gears to something very practical that causes endless friction. Scorekeeping.
Ah, yes. How we measure acts of love. This difference is huge EE and often invisible.
So how do women keep score, according to Gray?
For women, generally, every single act of love or support, no matter how big or small, scores 1 point. And all points have equal value.
Wait, equal value. So bringing home flowers is 1 point.
1 point. Remembering an anniversary is 1 point. Doing the dishes without being asked is 1 point. Paying the mortgage on time is 1 point. Fixing the leaky faucet is 1 point.
So a woman's love tank, as he calls it, needs lots and lots of these small, consistent 1 point gestures to feel full.
Exactly. Volume and consistency matter more than magnitude.
Okay, how do men keep score?
Totally different system. Men tend to believe that bigger gestures score more points. Much more. Like working hard to provide a big paycheck might feel like 30 points or 50 points. Buying an expensive gift, maybe 20 points. Fixing the car, 10 points. They focus their energy on the big wins.
And the little things. the daily stuff.
They often see those as insignificant. Why bother bringing home one flower, one point in his mind maybe, when he just scored 50 points with his bonus check? He thinks he's already way ahead.
There's that example in the book, right? Chuck, the doctor.
Yeah, Chuck earns a lot, provides well. He thinks his huge income should basically fill up most of his wife Pam's love tank. He figures he's scoring maybe 50 points a month just with his salary.
But Pam is unhappy. Why?
Because in her score system, his salary, while essential, is just part of his job. It counts, but maybe just as 1 point like everything else. Meanwhile, she feels like she's giving 50 or 60 points every month, running the house, managing kids, social life, all the little things.
So he thinks the score is roughly even, or maybe even in his favor, while she feels completely depleted and unappreciated because the quantity of small caring gestures isn't there.
Precisely. He neglects the little things because he thinks the big things cover it. But for her, those little things are direct hits on her primary needs. Caring, understanding, respect, reassurance. They show he's thinking of her throughout the day.
So the practical advice for men is,
Focus on the small stuff, consistently. Gray gives concrete examples. Give her 4 hugs a day. Call if you're going to be late. Make the bed sometimes. Offer to help without being asked. And crucially, practice that active listening. Give her 20 minutes of undivided attention where you resist solving her problems. Just listen.
each of those is just 1 point, but they add up quickly and keep the connection strong.
That's the idea. Small, consistent deposits.
Okay, so we have the theory, the needs, the communication tips, but life happens. We get upset. Negative feelings come up, anger, hurt, disappointment. And just talking about them can often make things worse, right? We fall back into those traps.
Absolutely. Talking while highly emotional often leads to blaming, criticizing, escalating the conflict. That's where the love letter technique comes in.
A structured way to process difficult emotions before trying to talk.
Exactly. It's about emotional release and clarity. Done privately first, so you don't accidentally wound your partner with unprocessed negativity. Writing allows you to express the full spectrum of feelings without censorship or fear of their reaction.
And there's a specific structure. The 5 feelings.
Yes, and the order is important. You have to cycle through them systematically to get the full benefit, to really drain the negativity and reach the love underneath.
Okay, walk us through the steps. First is
Anger and frustration. Start
Yeah.
there. I am angry that I feel frustrated because get all the angry feelings out on paper. Don't hold back.
okay, vent at the anger. Step 2.
Sadness and hurt. Go underneath the anger. I feel sad that it hurts me when... Allow yourself to feel the pain or disappointment.
Third step.
Fear and worry. What are the underlying anxieties? I'm afraid that. I worry that. This often reveals deeper insecurities driving the conflict.
Fourth.
Regret and apology. Take responsibility for your part, even if it's small. I am sorry that I regret. This step is crucial for shifting from blame to reconciliation.
And finally, the most important step.
Love and appreciation. After processing the negative layers, you can access the positive feelings more authentically. I love you. I appreciate it when you... I want. End on a note of connection and desire.
The idea being you can't genuinely feel the love if you're still choked up with unprocessed anger or fear.
Exactly. You have to clear the channel. Suppressing any of those negative steps means they just fester and will inevitably leak out sideways later, usually in destructive ways.
Is writing the love letter enough on its own?
It's powerful, but there's a vital second step, writing the response letter.
You write a response to yourself.
You pretend to be your partner writing back to you, saying all the loving, understanding, validating things you wish you could hear right now. I understand why you feel angry. I'm so sorry you were hurt. You deserve to feel loved.
Why do that? How does that help?
It fulfills the immediate emotional need for understanding and validation internally. By writing the response you crave, you become more emotionally balanced and open. Then, when you do talk to your partner later, you're less needy, less likely to demand that perfect response from them, and more able to actually receive whatever support they can offer.
It's like pre-soothing yourself so the actual conversation can be more constructive.
Precisely. You've drained the emotional well first. If you try to talk when you're full of resentment or fear, even if you try to be careful, that negativity will poison your words. This process helps ensure that doesn't happen.
Okay, this has been incredibly detailed. To wrap things up, the book talks about relationships not being static, right?
Right.
They go through seasons.
Yes, the seasons of love. It's a great metaphor for managing expectations over the long haul. Love isn't always springtime.
So springtime is.
Falling in love, everything feels easy, magical, effortless. You overlook flaws. Love feels like it will last forever just like this. bliss.
But it doesn't stay spring forever. Then comes summer.
Summer is reality setting in. You start noticing imperfections in your partner and the relationship. Challenges arise, frustration, disappointment. This is the season of hard work.
This is where you need to consciously apply all these Mars-Venus tools we've been talking about. The communication strategies, scorekeeping, understanding needs.
Exactly. Summer requires active effort. Weeding the garden, nurturing the connection. Many couples give up here because they expected spring to last forever.
If you put in the work during summer, then you get to autumn.
Autumn is the harvest. It's a time of mature, comfortable, fulfilling love. You work through challenges, there's acceptance of flaws, deep appreciation. It's stable, golden, rewarding.
And finally, winter.
Winter is a time of rest, quiet, sometimes feeling barren or cold. It's often a time for introspection. Unresolved issues from the past, maybe even from childhood, can surface during winter.
This is when men might retreat deeply into the cave, and women might experience a significant crash of the wave descending into the well.
Very much so. Winter isn't necessarily about the couple connecting. It's often a time for individual emotional work and healing. Using tools like the love letter can be vital here. The key is not to panic when winter arrives. It's a natural, necessary part of the cycle before spring can return.
So understanding these seasons helps you navigate the inevitable ups and downs without thinking the relationship is doomed every time things get difficult.
Right. It normalizes the cycles.
So the final thought here is really about patience, isn't it? With yourself and your partner.
Absolutely. You learn this stuff, you try to apply it, you'll inevitably forget it in the heat of the moment, you'll mess up, and then you'll remember it again and try again. It's a learning process.
The goal isn't perfect communication overnight. It's having the map, understanding the different languages, and using that awareness to navigate the journey.
That awareness is the key. Knowing you speak different languages, and likely always will, is what allows you to keep building bridges instead of walls.
Okay, as we close out this deep dive, the source material offers one last really sharp observation about arguments. It suggests most fights aren't really about the content of the disagreement.
Right. He argues it usually boils down to one of two things triggering the escalation. Either the man feels the woman fundamentally disapproves of his point of view, his competence, or
Or the woman feels the way the man is talking to her is invalidating, uncaring, or dismissive. She disapproves of his manner.
disapproval versus invalidation, two core triggers.
Which leads us to a final provocative question for you, the listener, to think about based on everything we've explored today. Which of those two dynamics, a man feeling fundamentally disapproved of, or a woman feeling emotionally invalidated by the way she's being spoken to, tends to cause the most immediate and perhaps the most lasting damage in a relationship? And why? Something to reflect on the next time you feel a simple disagreement starting to spiral.